Hi, my name is Megan Gaston, and this is my Highlight ePortfolio video for my Fort Hays Educational Leadership Program Final Review. So to get started, this is my ePortfolio here on the screen. We're going to start down here in my candidate info with the artifact folder. So the artifact folder is my folder that has all of the various artifacts that I have used in compiling this ePortfolio to show off what I have accomplished throughout this program. So there's a lot of things in there. Next, we're going to look at my goals statement. So I did a video for my goals presentation. This presentation talks about both my personal and professional goals for the next 1 to 5 years, and then 6 to 10 years, and then beyond 10 years. So this was very interesting to remake because we made one of these in the beginning of the program, but so much has changed for me both personally and professionally since starting the program. Some of it is due to COVID, and then some of it is just due to the changing of times and what I see for my future. And so this was updated about 2 months ago to reflect the most current goals that I have for myself. Next, my leadership philosophy. This is something else that has been developed and redeveloped throughout my time in the program. I had one of these for a previous teaching position that we did as our teacher philosophy that I shared with my parents every year as a teacher. So it was very fun to dig in and make a leadership philosophy what's most important to me. I did include a quote that individual commitment to a group effort. That is what makes a team work, a company work, a society work, and a civilization work. I think it's very important that we view leadership as an opportunity to lead a group, because without a strong group, without building capacity within our staff members, we are not going to be very successful. I also have in here that kids don't learn from people they don't like, and I think that's very important to realize as both a teacher and as a leader, that it's important that we challenge students, but we also build relationships with them, and we are able to successfully lead them because they know ultimately what we are doing is because we care about their best interest. Moving on into my plan of study, this changed multiple times. When I first started the program, I was doing the endorsement program, but then I decided to go on and do the full master's program. So I've changed this format multiple times. I have also had to delay classes, and then eventually this last semester, 2020, I took a lot of classes to go ahead and finish up. So this has changed, but it was very helpful for me in managing what I needed to get done in order to finish the program. Going into my resume is pretty simple, straightforward. As someone who has conducted a lot of interviews and gone through the process of selecting candidates, I know that we want to hit on a few main things, which is the objective, their past experience, and what they view that their key skills are. So that is the focus of my resume. It's just right to the point, direct information, and hopefully in an appealing format that will catch the eyes of future people looking at my resume. Into my activities, this is the activity form. We had to do 150 hours to complete the program. And at first, 150 hours seems so overwhelming, but when you get into it, 150 hours really isn't too bad. I have the privilege of working in a leadership role, and so I tried to find a balance between some of the coursework that I did, because I worked so hard to complete coursework during the program. So I included some of that, and then I also included some of the things that I do on a day-to-day basis as part of my job. So adding up the activities, I have whether it was district, secondary, or elementary, also the activity name, the time engaged, and then the corresponding components that went with those activities. I did put all of my activities in on a couple various days. They weren't all completed on those days, obviously, but that was when I sat down to read from my notes and put them into my activity tracker. So my activity tracker here, I have uploaded the newest template that was just recently provided to us, where we select the standard, the NELP standard, and then if it aligned with a district activity, an elementary activity, or a secondary activity. Administration verification, I've embedded these in. I have my 3, I have my elementary level, my district level, and then my secondary level administration verification forms. And then from there, we have the annotated bibliography. The annotated bibliography was so overwhelming at first, even though we had done 2 in the program, or at least I had done 2 in the program. Just knowing that I had 33 articles ahead of me and it was going to be very time consuming, I put this off. I wish I wouldn't have put it off, because once you dig into it and you get going, we were very well prepared to complete this activity. It flowed really nicely, so it wasn't as big of a deal as I was making it. What I will say is that the annotated bibliography is very, very beneficial for a quick recap of the highlights of what you need to know going into possibly an interview as a potential leadership candidate interview, because it hits on all of the key things that we need to be reminded of. So whether it's the importance of the vision and mission statement, or you go down into the various questions like the professional norms, the ethics. I also, one of the ones that I appreciated was actually the very last question about building capacity. It just really hits on those key things that we need to just be reminded of, that are super important when we go to refocus on what our philosophy is and what are the key details that we want to talk about to highlight as part of an interview process. The ePortfolio highlight video is what I'm working on now, and then going into the slideshows for my artifacts, starting with the district artifacts. So there are 5 activities within the district artifacts. In my slideshow, I have my information, and then I also have some form of a visual representation, and then I have the link to the direct artifact within my artifact folder. So for my district, this is the one that I would like to highlight, and this was our district OVT visit. It's a review document. We are in the process of a KISA review. This was year 4, and I was head of the committee for putting this together and presenting it to our OVT rep last year. So it was a lot of work. It was a lot of hours, and a lot of this had to be done after the COVID shutdown. So it was very overwhelming, but this is one of the activities as a school leader that I am most proud of. Going into elementary, my previous experience was an elementary teacher, so I really enjoyed being able to get back into the elementary, because right now I'm working as a counselor and as a member of the administration team. So this allowed me to get back into the elementary side of things, and I really enjoyed that. As a member of the administration team, I do hold weekly BLT meetings with our elementary staff. It's a very valuable part of my week, being able to check in with all of those teachers every week. So that is what I want to highlight within my elementary, but I do have the correct number of activities in here. And then going into secondary, I had the least amount of experience with secondary, so I actually decided to make that my main focus and do more activities at the secondary level, because I feel like that will benefit me more going into the interview process, because I have really enjoyed working on the administrative side of the secondary level. And so I would be open to being a principal at the elementary or the secondary level. I currently serve in leadership for pre-K through 12, so I have the opportunity to work at all levels right now. But that is the reason that I chose to hone my focus in on the secondary artifacts. So for this, this is some of my coursework that I did throughout the program. Going in, I did include a case study. This is one of the case studies that I felt like I learned the most from. Go in here. Sorry, it's kind of slow. Okay, so this is one of the things that I was very proud of as a district leader during COVID, and when we came back this school year having to implement remote learning for our staff. I was head of that department, and so it changed the way our school operated, and part of that was making a remote learning handbook for our students, our teachers, and the families. We also held lots of Zoom meetings to make sure we were all on the same page, and so I wanted to include this handbook because I did put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this handbook to ensure that all of our families felt supported, all of our teachers felt supported, and all of our students were able to be successful in the remote learning platform. And then to wrap this up, I am going to go into my reflection. This was a reflection that we wrote based on the various stages throughout the program. I will say one of the mistakes that I made was I, for whatever reason, did not get started on my ePortfolio early into the program, and I wish that I would have done that. However, I am so very thankful that the way this program is set up, everything is in the Google communities. Everything is really easy to search back and find. We have all of our artifacts in our Google Drive. So it is so helpful in finally putting this ePortfolio together. I can't imagine what I would have done if it would have been like other programs that I have completed where I happen to save an activity wherever it happens to fall for that particular assignment. All of them being grouped in was very, very beneficial. Going through the program reflection, going through all of the different courses the semester that I took them, and then I chose 2 activities for every course to highlight what was important about them and the impact that it had on my future leadership. So my first course, the AEP 803, I actually took this as a school counseling student, and shortly after this I transferred to a different counseling program to another college, and so I was just focusing on my district leadership, or my school leadership through Fort Hays. And so even though that course met my requirements, it was done through a counseling platform, and it was a very difficult class. I would say probably my favorite class out of all of these is going to be, looking through it here, EDL 856, Promoting Community Engagement. I really, really enjoyed this course because it forced me to get to know the community that I served, and I found how important it is to promote community engagement and to explore internal and external publics. This is one of the things that's often overlooked or put to the wayside because we have so much important pressing matters at hand, and so sometimes it's easy to slack on the community engagement, the external stakeholders, and that is a mistake as a leader. So this was a very good reminder of the importance of doing that. Also, going into the media literacy, the digital portfolios and curriculum mapping, that's going to help me as a future leader because I can help my teachers kind of go in a new direction away from the traditional worksheet, paper, pencil, teaching to encompass some digital portfolios, which will be very important as we continue to navigate the remote learning and the effects of COVID. So this is my ePortfolio. I really enjoyed putting it together. It seemed time consuming, it seemed overwhelming, but once I got started, it flowed really nicely. Everything has great templates, wonderful instructions, easy to put together, and I truly enjoyed this summative evaluation of myself through its creation. Thank you.